the last episode of our first year recording the podcast. We wanted to find a way that we could connect with our members on a whole nother level. 200 locations across the nation, 30,000 plus clients. The work is never going to be done. We lost thousands of pounds with our 10-pound challenge. We were able to donate to over 100 local food banks. We had over 22,000 clients participate, over 180,000 items collectively participated in the mirth across the brand. And we honor those who served and those who have fallen for our country. It can only go up from here. Welcome back, you guys, to another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. I am your host, Mary Katherine, and this is the last episode of our first year recording the podcast. And wow, has it been a year? There's been so many ups and downs for me personally, and we're going to dive into a few of those today. We're also going to do like a recap for the Fit Body Bootcamp brand, because side note, if you're new to the show, Beyond the Scale started as a podcast for our clients. We have 200 some locations across the nation, and we have 30,000 plus clients. And we wanted to find a way that we could connect with our members on a whole nother level and not just talk about health and fitness and everything that they already get in the gym, but sprinkle in a little bit of mindset, talk about motherhood, ambition, and just anything related to life beyond the scale, beyond metrics, beyond that number that we need to remember to not define ourselves by. And so this episode today, we're going to kind of just recap the year. I'm going to give you a little recap of my year personally, if you follow along with me and my life and my journey in motherhood and entrepreneurship, and also the podcast and the Fit Body Bootcamp brand. And so here we go. So this was my first year in podcasting, and it's really funny. I've shared this story before, but I'll share it again in case you missed it. So prior to me starting the podcast and becoming the host, I did a podcast with the Fit Body Bootcamp CEO, Bryce Henson. He asked me to be on his podcast, and this was several months before Beyond the Scale started. It was my first ever podcast that I was being a guest on, and I was so incredibly nervous. And actually, I think I was more excited than I was nervous. However, I had prepared, I had planned out everything I was going to say. Here I have this mic on, we're all set up, and we get going, and there is this little gnat, this little fly that is just zooming around me as we are recording the podcast. And so I'm just sitting there, and like when you get a little bit nervous, your mouth is kind of dry and like the spit just begins to like pool in the sides of your cheek. Well, I am like full sentence passionate about what I'm talking about, and all of a sudden this fly flies into my mouth and I start coughing, and it just caught me by surprise. And the first thing I did was I just started laughing. And at the end of the podcast, and I tried to play it off so like that nobody would notice, but my husband, he was doing the podcast with me, and he definitely noticed, and he was like trying to keep it together and not laugh too hard. And so after the podcast, as soon as we stopped recording, I was like, oh my God, I swallowed a fly. And so the rest of the day, I just kept laughing to myself, like, I can't believe I swallowed a fly on my first ever podcast. So I just kept making a joke about it and saying, podcasting, it can only go up from here. And it did. It totally did. But as many of you know, if you're in the podcasting world, or even if you're not, there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows. And so let's kind of dive into some of those. So first year of podcasting, it was so fun for me because I was learning as I recorded, and every week I was getting new guests and learning about them and researching their stories and learning how they could contribute to our listeners and to our clients in the gym. And that was really fun. I got to connect with some really, really cool people, which I'll get into here in a second. And I loved that. But also within this last year, something really shifted for me, and that was I sold one of my Fit Body Bootcamp locations. And this was the first location that I ever started. It was like kind of like my golden child, my golden location. And it was my Blacksburg, Virginia location. We had over 400 members when I sold it. And how it happened is I had a member at the gym come up to me and just say like, "Hey, would you ever be interested in selling this business? I'd love to get into the space." And it was just a great opportunity. It was a great opportunity for them. It was a great opportunity for me because I wanted to get more into my role with the Buddy Bootcamp. And I also am starting to help other people open their own locations and invest in other Fit Body locations. And so it all worked out. It was a wonderful opportunity for both sides. And she is crushing it today. But it was a little bit of an identity shift because I was so used to being in the day to day of that business. And that started out as my first location, and I coached there full time. And eventually, as I started having children and opening up other locations, I no longer coached full time. However, I really enjoyed being there. I enjoyed being there with the other coaches and being a part of that community. And about 6 months prior to the sale, I started to pull back and realize that, like, this is what my life was going to be now when the sale was complete, when it was finalized. But you don't truly understand and you don't know how you're going to feel until it's done. And so, those first few months after that sale, it was challenging. It was so challenging. I would say for the first 6 months, because I was trying to rediscover like what my day to day was going to look like, what it should look like. It's like you have these unspoken unspoken guidelines and like rules that you're trying to follow for yourself, but like you're the one setting it. And there were days where I'm like, oh, I'm used to communicating with the team or going to a team meeting this day, but I don't have this anymore. So, like, what should I be doing? And so, just like restructuring your schedule. And so, I know many of you that are listening to this have likely gone through a transition similar to me. Maybe you got a new job. Maybe you quit your job to be a stay at home mom, or maybe you retired and your schedule is not what it used to be. That takes some time. It does not just, you don't just accept it overnight. It doesn't just feel normal. It takes time, and I'm still adapting and I'm still growing. And so that was something that I dealt with within the last year. But today, as I'm recording this, I'm in a great place. I have navigated this new identity outside of owning that location, and it's going well. But every day I'm working at it. Every day I'm working at growing and learning and just being open to possibilities and opportunities in this new season for me. All right, something else that I did within the last year is I really prioritized my health, not only my physical health, but my mental health. And I don't feel like I share about mental health enough, but I have struggled with mental health issues for the last 10 years. I developed crippling anxiety when I was in college, my freshman year of college. I'm sorry, I say 10 years, 15 years. When I was in college, my freshman year, I would be up all night. Any night I had a test. I'll never forget one night in the middle of the night, I called my dad and I was like, I just can't sleep. I don't know what to do. Like, I feel like there's something wrong with me. And it was because I had a chemistry test the next day. And I just had this crippling anxiety that would overcome, like, over my body and my mind anytime that I would have a test. And so that anxiety, yeah, it started when I was 18 years old. And I've been dealing with it for about 15 years now. And I have finally learned that it's just a part of me. It's just something that I deal with. And so within the last year, I focused a lot on my mental health. I focused a lot on my physical health. And here's some things that I do regularly. I work out, of course. I go to Fit Body Boot Camp usually 3 to 4 times a week. And if I can't hit those 3 to 4 times a week, then I'll work out at home in my garage, in my little garage gym, which is nowhere as nice to Fit Body Boot Camp. I would much rather be at boot camp. But my life does not allow for 6 a.m. workouts right now on most days because that's the time my kids get up. And sure, I could slip out and go to the gym and my husband could take over. However, I very, very much cherish this time with my kids, and I love being with them in the morning when they wake up. I like enjoying my cup of coffee while we watch cartoons together and we snuggle on the couch, and I love that. And so that's the season of life I'm in. And I'm not going to try to make morning workouts happen. If I get up one morning on a whim and get a workout in, great. Usually when I do that, those are like the best days ever. But I'm not striving to do that right now. And so just accepting that during this season of life, that like that's not going to be easy for me. And that's probably something I should just take off my goal list. Just accepting that was the first step for me. Something else I had to accept was that the work is never going to be done. I'm very much the person that I like want to check off all the boxes. I want everything on the to-do list to be done. And by the end of the day, I want to be able to sit and relax. And I was finding that at the end of the day, I was never able to sit and relax because whatever I didn't get done that day, I had to roll over to the next day, and then there was something else to add to it. And so like the work is never done. And so you do have to set boundaries with your work life, with your family, with your social life, even with your own personal like goal list. So for me, it's like I used to want to work out every single day. And I realized that some days it's not going to be possible. On those Saturdays and Sundays where we have birthday parties and sporting events, the kids are out of school, everyone is together. Some days working out, it's just not going to happen. And so I had to mentally tell myself like it's okay. Like you're going to be fine if you don't work out every single day. And so, going back to this year in review, I focused on my mental health this year a lot. I really like got quiet with myself and um just kind of visited some things from my past that triggered me and some things that are currently triggering me. Like when I have a work project that I'm really excited about and I'm passionate about, but yet one of my kids gets sick and they're home from school and I can't work on it that day. I used to have this anger that would just build up inside of me because I was just angry that I couldn't get it done. And I'm like, why? Why do I do that? And so what I did this year is I just really revisited and sat with some of those feelings and tried to figure out a way to cope with it. And that's what I did. And for my physical health, again, I focus on my workouts. I get in our infrared sauna multiple times a week. My husband and I, we work out together a lot, and that's really fun. It's great for your relationship because we hold each other accountable. Aside from physical fitness and my mental health, I have prioritized my relationship a lot within the last year. And as anybody listening to this knows, like there's going to be highs and lows in any relationship. And we are going through the thick of parenthood right now with a 2 and 5-year-old. Like, no 2 days are the same, especially with that 2-year-old, like his emotions. He's into everything. We're trying to learn how to discipline him, which is super challenging. So, if you have any tips, please send them my way. And we're being fed so much information. We're all being fed so much information. It's like we're trying to pick and choose what are we supposed to be listening to? What's going to work best for our family? And so I would say like the theme of the last year for me has been evolution. I've really evolved. I have evolved from no longer, owning one of my Fit Body Bootcamp locations and that being a big part of my life, a big part of my weekly routine, to taking a new role with Fit Body Bootcamp as a podcast host, starting to invest in additional locations, serving as like that silent partner and back end owner, um, being like more present with my kids, focusing on my mental health, my physical health. This whole year has been all about evolving and learning and growing. And so excited to see what the next year is going to bring. But that's kind of like my year in a nutshell. And let's, move on to the podcast. The podcast, we've recorded 52 episodes, 52 episodes of the Beyond the Scale podcast. And some of them I have recorded at home, which I'm doing today in my home studio. Some of them I've recorded at some really cool masterminds, Nashville, Cancun, Mexico, just to name a few. And a handful of them I've recorded in the awesome state-of-the-art studio at headquarters in Chino Hills, California. I have had some incredible guests. Amberly Lago, Rachel Shear, Bryce Henson, the CEO of FitBody, Craig Ballantyne, Diana Koulian, Katie Coles, and so many more. I've interviewed some truly incredible FitBody Bootcamp franchise partners that they share their story and how they got into the franchise and the impact that they're making in their community and just how rewarding it is, but also challenging to own your own business and to be in this industry. And so if you missed any of those, make sure you go back and check some of those out. I usually record one franchise partner interview every single month. So there's a ton of them sprinkled in within the last year. Let's see some of the data. We've had over 1,000 downloads for the podcast on YouTube, which is great. We're just getting started on YouTube. We have over 7,000 subscribers to our YouTube channel, and we're now on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So we are moving up in the world. Beyond the Scale Season 2, we are coming for you. All right, the FitBody brand, the FitBody brand as a whole. So here are some numbers for you, and these are incredible. So we have 289 franchise locations. 222 are currently open and operated. We have 59 pending opening within the next 12 to 18 months, and 37 of those are brand new franchise partners. So 37 new people. We have 22 additional locations that our current franchise partners are working on building out. So we have had so much growth within the last year in the FitBody Bootcamp brand, and we're just getting started. I mean, we all know that COVID, it hit every industry, fitness business included, and we have continued to grow despite COVID. And this last year has been one of the best years that we've had in a while. And it's just truly incredible. I love seeing new franchise partners join the brand and watching their growth. I love seeing their pictures of the build out and their marketing and just how they're setting up these little pop-up shops to market their business before they're even open. And side note on that, if you are someone who, and you're listening to this and you've thought about owning your own FitBody Bootcamp location, you're starting your own fitness business, and you're passionate about health and helping other people, FitBody Bootcamp has like a red carpet rollout program. It's called FitBody in a Box, and it's truly incredible. You can sign a franchise agreement with us, and we have a nationwide team that we can send out to your location, build out your location, and then after it's built out, or even before it's completed, we have an internal marketing team that's going to help you with external marketing to get over 100 clients signed and committed before you even open your doors. I mean, talk about done for you marketing. While you get to do all of this stuff too, you have the support of HQ. You have the support of their marketing and PR team that is going to help you market your business to your community. They're going to show you as a influencer in your community in the fitness space, and they're going to help you open your doors with over 100 clients. And so I just think it's truly incredible program. And I've been with the brand for almost 7 years, and it's just grown and changed in so many ways. It's evolved. And that's one thing that FitBody does incredibly well, is that when we see a change that needs to be made, we take action, and we take action quickly. So that's my little side note on franchise ownership, if that's something that you're interested in. Let's see, something else that we did in the last year, we launched the Beyond the Scale newsletter. So not only did we launch the podcast, but we launched the newsletter. And the newsletter goes out to over 75,000 clients. We have an email list of over 75,000 people that this goes out to every single week. And we showcase the podcast, but we also showcase some really cool things we're doing as a brand. We showcase some health and fitness tips, some wellness tips, some stories, some transformation stories, some case studies. And so it's great. So if you're not on that email list, make sure to join that, because that goes out every Thursday, and it's incredible. It's a great newsletter, and it's just it's a really good read. And so you can subscribe to that and get all your info every Thursday. The 10-pound challenge. We gave away over $5,000 in cash prizes for our recent 10-pound challenge. We lost hundreds, thousands of pounds collectively across the brand with our 10-pound challenge. And we all know that like a challenge, it's just a jump start. It's just a kickstart to your fitness journey. And if you're someone listening to this and you're like, I need to get into the gym, I need to kickstart my health and wellness journey, I highly recommend reaching out to your local Fit Body Bootcamp and get on their next challenge. Get on their next 6 to 8 week program because it's going to help kickstart your health and wellness journey. We participated in the MRF across the brand. So the MRF, we honor those who served and those who have fallen for our country. We put ourselves through a grueling workout and we come together as a community and we work out together to just show them some love. And it's incredible to see the pictures and the videos from the MRF every single year. The workout is not easy, and I too like struggle big time, but we do it. We do it together. We support one another and we get through it. And so it's a great program that Fit Body Bootcamp supports every single year. And the last one that I want to highlight is our food battle. So this is our second annual food battle that we just wrapped up around the holidays for Fit Body Bootcamp across the brand. And what we do is we ask locations to collect non perishable food items to support a local food bank in their community. And this year we were able to donate to over 100 local food banks. We had over 22,000 clients participate. We donated over 180,000 items collectively, which is up 45% from last year. And again, this is only our second year doing this. So to me, we are just getting started. Like, we are going to continue to grow with this every single year. I know it. And our members have so much fun with it. And so, what we did is we marketed this to our members. And to make it fun, we said, hey, bring in a friend for a free week or two of boot camp and just ask them to bring some non perishable food items in return. And so, by doing that, we were able to get our members involved. They brought their friends to boot camp. We collected all of our non perishable food items and we gave back to our communities. And giving back to our community at Fit Body Bootcamp is one thing that we really pride ourselves on, because if it weren't for the amazing members in our communities, our business wouldn't be what it is. And our impact, we know that it goes so much further than just the 30 minutes in your day. And while 30 minutes, like that's just a section, that's just a little portion of your day, it's our whole world. Like you coming to boot camp, you coming to take care of yourself and also support our business. It's our whole world. So we want to do everything that we can to give back to our community as a brand. And here is a little segment from the winners this year of the food battle. What's up, you guys? I am so excited to have you here with me today. We have Sierra, Celine, and Tiffany from North Meridian Fit Body Bootcamp. And North Meridian, they are the second annual, right? You guys won last year.
Yeah.
They're the second annual. They're winning for the second time our food battle that we do across the brand. This year, we had over 22,000 clients participate. We collected over 180,000 items, and we donated. I know. It's seriously incredible. Like, I can't even believe it. We actually increased our participation by 45% from last year.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow.
So it gives me chills. Like, it's seriously incredible. But you guys are the winners. You collected close to 15,000 items. You had, and we're going to get into this. I'm guessing you probably had every single client participate in order to hit this goal. And I'm going to just ask you some questions on like how you got everybody on board with this. So walk us through how you marketed the food battle in your location.
So we start marketing. We actually didn't start marketing until the beginning of November. The food battle started around the 13th. So for the first week of November, it was like, you guys know what's coming, because we had a little benefit of the prior year being the winner. Our previous clients that participated last year, they hyped it up for us. So we honestly didn't even have to do all of that work. They saw our community come together last year. And so they just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. So even on the first couple days of the food drive, we were kind of blown away, because we're like, wow, this is day 2 and we already have these things rolling in. Now, as the new clients that joined this year saw that, they were like, whoa, they take this serious. Like, this is a big thing. And so the vibe for the whole 2 weeks just kept growing and growing and growing. And it was like cheering throughout the days of when people would bring it in. So
That's so incredible. And so another component was we suggested for our location owners, our franchise partners, to tell their members, hey, you can bring a friend in for a free week or 2 of boot camp sessions as long as they bring in some non-perishable food items. So did you have any members do that?
Yes, we had members bring in husbands, friends. It was really cool. Some of them joined as members after that. So it's been a really great month. We had people bringing in bags of stuff that we've never met before. It was fantastic, because it felt like we got not only our members in, but they went out and they went to their families and their friends and they talked about it. And it's just great. It's great to see everybody kind of coming together, and especially during this time of the year. So love it. And we talk about our core values, and one of them is building community. And so we stress that a lot, that this is something that we can all get together to do, big or small, and give to other people.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you mentioned that, because I too feel that as a small business owner, it's like you have these people pour into your business, and then you have like a duty to then pour into your community. Because if it weren't for your community and those people, you wouldn't be what you are today. Your Fit Body wouldn't be what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so what food bank did you donate the food to?
So I think I'm going to take the reign on this one, because we donated to Idaho Food Bank. I worked hand in hand with them last year to get this coordinated. I will tell you, last year when they came to do our pickup, I scheduled a pickup. They were blown away. So this year I called weeks in advance and said, hey, it's North Meridian Fit Body Boot Camp. Are you ready for us? And so I went up and I picked up 11 of their food drive bins. It's all that they had left. So I took everything they had. And then at the end of the food drive, the semi truck came to pick up all the food. And they actually had to call for backup, because it was too much for them to get on their own. So they said it's the second, off of the top of their head, but the second largest food drive they've ever collected in the state of Idaho.
Wow.
So
that is incredible.
Yeah. It made all of us, while we were loading the truck, like to tears, because you get to see how many people we get to help. And, we're a small little gym here in North Meridian, Idaho, and we got to donate almost 15,000 items of donations. So it really fills our hearts.
That is seriously incredible. So how many clients do you have at North Meridian?
About 175 active.
Okay, 175. And do you think the majority of them participated? Like, what do you think the percentage was with participation?
I would say close to 100.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if they didn't participate by physically bringing in the food, they would give a cash donation. And so that ended up, with our cash donations, we actually went out and did the shopping for them, because our grocery stores were crazy for Thanksgiving. So we went out and we shopped for them, and they appreciated it, because they wanted to help, but they didn't have the time. So it was cool.
I always kind of bring like humor to it. And I'm like, and if you are just sick and tired of grocery shopping, give us $1, give us 50, give us 5. We don't care. Sierra loves grocery shopping.
I love it.
She wants to go again. So I'm like, let's make her shop.
I'm a girl.
That's awesome. I love how you guys made it fun, and you really, showcase to your members how important it is to giving back to your community and getting them involved. And it's a great time of year to do that too, because during the holiday season, it's like we can get so wrapped up in the things that we have going on in our own life. And like here, we took some time, you guys took the time to give back to your community in North Meridian. So I think it's so impressive what you did, and I'm so proud of you guys. And you know what the crazy part is there's some location owners out there that have like 500-600 members, and they didn't even come close to collecting what you guys collected.
Yeah.
So We literally saw your numbers and we were like, somebody in the gym like owns a grocery store and they donated everything.
Actually, I have an inside scoop for you. So we are competitive, obviously. It is a
Yeah,
competition. So I called every local grocery store. I called everyone for donations, and I got one $20 gift card to Albertsons out of every phone call.
that's
So
it.
this is all from clients. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
Wow. Well, that's cool. I'm
Yeah.
glad to know that. I'm glad I said something. So now
Yeah.
we know that. That's surprising. You would think that like more grocery stores would say, "Hey, here, sure, like take some of this stuff."
Yeah. I even had sit down meetings with the managers, and they just,
Yeah,
it's all the economy, every single location.
interesting.
Yeah.
We even had somebody, because we have some food factories nearby, and the
Yeah.
go-go squeeze, the little apple sauces.
Oh yeah.
They donated 800 items last year, and then this year we got a letter from her, and it was like, "Sorry, we didn't have enough time. We can't do your donation this year." And we actually gave them more time this year than the year before, so they just didn't. They didn't want to
Yeah.
donate. So we were like, "That was 800 items. What are we
Yeah.
supposed to do with that?" But once people saw us bringing in like flats of peas and corn and top ramen, and they were like, okay, so they didn't just clean 5 things out of their pantry at home, they went big. And then these people were like, you know what, I'm at the store, I can spend $20 on food. We had people giving us cards. Actually, I meant to grab the card ahead of time and read it. But she was like, I haven't felt this good in 10 years. You guys are so amazing. And she gave us a cash donation to go shopping and just this wonderful card talking about how much she loves being here.
Aw.
And she's a newer member, maybe like a few months.
Yeah.
Super,
That's awesome.
super
I
sweet.
think like the new clients love that stuff. Like they love to see that it's not just like, they're going to the gym for a workout. They love to see like how they're by joining the gym, they're like involved in something bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
And I think clients love that.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, the photos for the media were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And everything was set up much better this year as far as to follow. And like the check off sheet, we use that every day, the donation drop off. So I just round of applause to headquarters because it made our lives, 15,000 items is a lot of items to count. And so it made our process so much easier. And we put trash bags over all the food that had been counted, and nobody touched it. And so we had a system, but we couldn't have had that without your guys' help.
That's great to know because I remember like when we were doing it last year in our Blacksburg studio, we kept recounting and recounting and recounting. And we're like, this is exhausting. Like, when do we just stop doing this and just guesstimate? And it is challenging, but that's good feedback. I'll definitely let them know.
Yeah. So thank you for putting this on because our gym definitely grows because of it.
Yeah. Also, is there anything else that you'd like to add that you'd want to tell our listeners about the food drive?
I would say we kind of had this big learning lesson throughout last year and this year, but we had a team meeting before the food drive because it is a big event for us. We have food that covers our gym. We've got to have a plan on what to do with it. So we had a little meeting, and what we all emphasize to each other is they drive off of like, if our heart's fully in it, their heart will fully be in it. And so every single coach, we talked about it every day leading up. And then that first day, we physically, brought food in, and just to have that feeling of, okay, they've got our back like we've got theirs. That goes for anything in life. And that was a big learning lesson, a big takeaway from this food drive is the more that you show you're passionate and your heart's into something, they're going to follow. And as a business owner, I think that's very important.
Yes, lead by example. When your heart's in it, their heart will be in it. I love that so much. Well, thank you, ladies, for your time. And again, thank you for your participation. And so excited for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very grateful.
So that's a wrap on season 1 of the Beyond the Scale podcast. I am so honored to serve as your host. I can't wait for season 2. Buckle up. We have some amazing guests that have messages to share on the impact that they are making in the world. And I am stoked to bring that message to you guys. So make sure to check us out on YouTube, subscribe to our channel on Apple Podcast and Spotify, and share this episode with all of your friends. Until next time, thanks so much.